Hey library staff, this is Gina and Paul. We have some information to share with you today, something we're very excited about. We need your help in planning the next decade for the library. And we've been talking about this for quite some time. And we've been doing a lot of things for the last 3 years. But now it's time to broaden that conversation and include our community. What will this library become over the next 10 years? We've done some amazing things together to this point. But we also understood that we needed to gather more information to really figure out who our community is and what they need from us and what matters most to them. So Paul, over to you to talk a little bit about that.
Well, I think that one of the goals that we set out for in making a long-term plan was to get to where we were making fact-based decisions and not just those based on what our perceptions might be. So there's several components to that, to those facts that we're going to be using in this process. First is the work we did with Civic Technologies, and what we did there was share with Mark Futterman, the big guy at Civic Technologies, who our patrons were. He mapped that information for us. What kinds of materials they were borrowing. We gathered that data. He mapped it for us. And so that's all available in a report that's been out on the website for a while. I really do encourage all of you to go in there and engage with that material and see what it says to you. One of the other things that we used was the community planning workshop, and I'll let you talk about that.
Okay. And I might mention too that one of the things that we're using, in addition to demographic information, which is pretty standard for any planning process, we're using marketing information. And I'll just use myself as the example because I kind of became the poster child for this in our community planning workshop. My husband Reed and I live in the southwest corner of Shawnee County, just outside of Auburn, and we actually are part of a lifestyle segment called Green Acres. Well, if you want to learn more about Green Acres, go to the website, go to our staff intranet, and look me up. And start looking yourself up as well. There's some really cool colored maps and all kinds of interesting stuff out there. To kick this off for the public, we had a community planning workshop on June the 5th. And we had about 70 community representatives there, included people from all over the community, and it also included trustees and volunteers and library users, and some staff as well. We learned an amazing amount. We really focused on 5 key areas because we only had one day. So we focused on areas where we thought the library was making a difference and potentially could make a huge difference in this community over the next decade. And they included economic development, arts and culture, the larger community planning process to ensure that we were really integrating whatever we were doing with that larger vision for the community, working with youth, and then kind of a catch-all called What Do People Want? Because we're always focused, no matter what we're doing, we're always focused on what matters most to our customers. So that was really the beginning. Now we, as Uncle Sam says, we need you because the real work begins. You've gotten notice that we are having 12 staff meetings. We're actually having our own kickoff for the staff portion of this plan for the next 10 years on August the 13th. That's our quarterly all-staff meetings. There's 3 sessions, and as usual, we'll ask you to sign up for one of those. So we'll have kind of a general discussion of what we'll be doing, just as we are today. And then we have, over the next 2 weeks, 12 staff meetings scheduled, and we're asking all staff members to sign up for one of those. What are you going to be doing in those staff meetings? Paul, you talk about that.
Well, what we're going to be doing is using the PLA, Public Service Responses. There are 18 of those that have been outlined by PLA, different areas that public libraries typically focus on. Obviously, with 18, there's no way we're going to focus on all of those. So Management Council is currently working on whittling that list down to a more manageable number, probably 6 to 8 by the time we're done.
Right, and we're literally we're going through every single one of them, and in effect we're conducting an audit of services, collections, and programs. Because in a 2-hour meeting with all of you, there's no way we can do all of that. So ultimately, we're going through what Donna Trine calls a decision matrix process now. So we will have, by the end of this week, we will have 6 to 8 service responses selected that you'll be discussing at the 2-hour sessions.
We need your help in figuring out how we're going to do what we decide most needs to be done. You're the folks who can provide a lot of insight into what's the best way to attack a problem, what's the best way to exploit an opportunity, and You're in an excellent position to help us understand better what the public wants and what they value the most, and what might be the best way for us to provide that need.
Right.
Because one of the things we heard in the workshop is the expectations of this community are very high, and whatever we do, we're going to need to do it well, because that's what they expect us to do, and that's what they're used to having us do.
And this community really values the staff. They love the building, they love all the things that we do, but first and foremost, they respect us, they trust us, and they need us. And finally, this is a library, and so we're going to give you lots of information. You'll be getting actually a spiral-bound notebook that includes all of the PLA service responses as well as some additional background information. We really encourage you to take a look at that prior to going into your meetings if you can. So I think we're done.
I think we're done,
Yeah.
except if you have any questions, let us know. Ask supervisors, ask your managers, talk amongst yourselves. We're going to hit the ground running on this thing.
And it's not a one-shot deal. You'll go to your 2-hour meeting, and then everything's posted on the website. There are blogs. We want you to comment. We want you to question. We want you to challenge. We want you to be an active part of this process. So here's your official invitation to the next decade. Thanks.
Thank you.
Process, I can't. We need to start over. So now we can be goofy.
So,
Yes.
so